Hello and welcome to another Maxi Geek stream. We're back with God of War. Not much to say about it. It's where we're up to. We're about, I think from memory, we're about halfway. I will literally just look up now. Oh God, I got my words mixed up, and I went to write God of Walkthrough, which technically would be an accurate description. Where are we? Oh, it's the reboot, not the what I want. We have just done the Temple of the Oracle. So we just saved the Oracle, even though she was just dangling from a rope. We got a really, really nicely rendered cutscene that really didn't help the game's visuals when it left the cutscene, because the character Kratos looks mostly the same, but the Oracle in the cutscene was more like Aladdin from more like Princess Jasmine from Aladdin. And in the game, she was more like the direct-to-DVD sequel, or direct-to-VHS sequel back then. But in any event, we've done the Temple of the Oracle, so now we're into the sewers of Athens. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters so far, and there's about 12 to go. So we're not all the way through yet. Let's swap to the big picture. So yeah, with any luck, we will get closer to a third of the game done today. But we'll see how we go. Just got to fix that because I forgot to unmute the game. All right. So I also just need to double check the controller. So this controller is brand new. I bought this controller on eBay. It was a brand new, never opened God of War Ascension themed controller. And I've played through Ascension. I did 2 streams with a regular controller, and then I played through the rest of Ascension, Chains of Olympus, and now the original with it. And I've only charged it that first time. The battery in it is just that good. It hasn't needed me to charge it after 20 odd hours of playing. Whereas if this was a PS5 controller, I'd have been on my 4th charge by now. So this like this, standing here gives you a foreboding feeling. It is as if your ultimate fate were tied to this very ledge. So at the end of Chains of Olympus, after Kratos defeats Persephone and rides on Helios' chariot back out of the underworld, he falls off when he hits the sky. And he's about to smack into the ground where we're standing. But Athena and an unnamed, unseen god save him and take away all these really cool toys. And then when this game starts, he's standing on this very cliff, and he's like, the gods have forsaken me, and he steps off. And now we're sort of playing what led up to that. So it doesn't actually quite sync up correctly. I think that's an Athena statue, right? Yeah. So in terms of how the story works, yay, more magic. We find Kratos, at his wit's end. He's stepping off into the realm of nothing. So we have to now get back to that point. But the game doesn't actually say how we got from the end of the last game to the start of this game. That's where we had to go, wasn't it? Oh, freaking fixed cameras. maybe not. Yeah, so the way it works, the way it should have worked, I should say, is that by the end of the last game, we should have found ourselves, you know, on a boat or something. Maybe somebody like paid to have Kratos taken on a boat, and that's how we start this game. You know, maybe just needed a little extra of a cutscene to explain how he gets from the cliff to the boat, but because they try again, the problem with prequels is if you don't fit the story in, it doesn't make sense, and they didn't unfortunately fit the story in. So that's all right. We're still having fun. Watch the camera do a pan down the area. See, look at that. Every time. I still find it hilarious that this game, which was on the PS2, when it was ported to the PS3, which is what we're playing it on, you know, all the reflections are there. But when we played Ascension, which was made for the PS3, didn't have anything of that. Do we need anything? Technically, no. That's fine. We'll take this health, you know. They're just going to spawn again? I know they like to spawn in waves. Sorry, when I say wave, what I mean is they spawn. They'll do, you know, 2 or 3 at a time. I like that the guy in the back's getting shot by his own friends. Got smushed. I almost unlocked a chest of magic. We don't need that because we didn't use any. We're almost at, you know, 10 things. Let's just see how many orbs we do have. We have 2,800. We need 3,750, so we need another 900 or so for that one. What else have we got? Poseidon's Rage. Let's power this up to the next level. Oh, I almost stopped and I was like, oh. Because I use this quite a bit. Medusa's useless. Zeus's Shrew is fine because it just does it from a distance. Alright, so we now need 2.5, which is fine. I hit circle and I didn't have an attack happen. I think he just sort of smashed his head into his knee, and I was like, hang on, that's different. And then I remembered, oh no, for whatever reason, these ogre things, they don't have a I remembered that time I got a mash circle. Almost forgot last time. I will say I'm a fan of that, where they don't attack you if they're off screen. Not because, you know, it's a good thing or anything. The game just doesn't do it, which I'm very happy about. So I can open this just, even though the other guy's still there. Okay, I thought I could get up there. That's fine. We're not trying to 100% the games, we're just playing through them, so. Freaking cameras, man, I tell you what. It's the same reason people don't like the old school Resident Evils these days. So isn't it the town square? Oh, okay. The road to Athens is literally sort of where we came in after the ship. I'm just opening my drink. Oh no, sorry, this is where we were. There's Ares off in the background doing whatever he's doing. There's some very flat polygon things that are supposed to look like an army. So we went in this direction that we're facing now before when we first came up this way, but it was locked because the Oracle wouldn't we need the Oracle's blessing, so we had to go the other way, which was through town, doing all the things that we were doing. Sorry, that was my phone I dropped. So now we can go back this way. Hey Steve, yeah, the area's design is really cool. I do just kind of wish he did something more than just this. Like, obviously, we're not supposed to pay attention to him as much as we are, but like, he literally just swiped at the air then. Oh well. How are you doing? Have you recovered from your trip? In terms of story, we are going to find Pandora's box.
Kratos, the journey forward is perilous, but one you must complete if you are to have any hope of saving Athens.
The Oracle spoke of Pandora's box. Can it be real?
The box exists. It is the most powerful weapon a mortal can wield.
And with
That is a
such
good
weapon,
thing.
I could defeat Ares.
With the box, many things become possible, and so it is hidden well, far across the desert of lost souls. There is safe passage through the deadly sands, but only those who hear and follow the siren's song will discover it. You must find the sirens, Kratos. Only they can guide you to Kronos, the Titan.
A Titan lives?
Kronos is the last. Zeus has commanded him to wander the desert endlessly, the Temple of Pandora chained to his back, until the swirling sands rip the very flesh from his bones. Stay true to the song of the siren, Kratos. Your journey begins here. Pray it leads you back to Athens, with Pandora's box. Follow the song of the sirens, Kratos. Find and destroy them all, and the path through the deadly sands will be open to you.
Right, so here now we have to run around aimlessly until we start hearing a siren. That was a bird, not a siren. Oh, what's that ahead of us? Hey, a chest. I'll be honest, it's been 20 odd years since I played this game, so... Oh look, there's where we have to go. Yeah, I think I
You must
recounted
find
this
and
story.
destroy the two remaining sirens before you may pass.
Yes, thank you, Athena. I already knew that. Um, I think I said it last Thursday, but when I got my PS3, I had no games to play after Resistance and F1. They were the two games that I bought from the UK the year before it came out in Australia. So in 2005, 2006, whenever it came out, I ended up buying God of War 1 and 2 on PS2 because I had a launch model PS3. That's how I played. Oh, I hear a siren. That's how I played the games. I played them. Oh, siren's going away. Oh, another chest. Oh, nope, that is a shrubbery. Ooh, collection of stone pillars. I heard a siren over this way. Nope, back this way then. Yeah, so I played the PS2 versions, on the PS3, but I haven't touched them since, so. There you are, you're roaming around, you're not just hanging around in a place.
You must find and destroy the final siren before you may pass.
I always love the idea that nobody just climbs over the wall. Let's see. Okay, so I can hear the siren. More chests. Oh, okay. This is giving me strong Dune vibes right now. There you are. Roaming around. I mean, Greeking around. Oh. I'll be honest, when Doom Part 1 came out on DVD and that, I tried watching it, I ended up just skipping through most of it.
Been destroyed, Kratos. The path before you is now revealed.
Well, it's not revealed. I know where the path is. It's open now. Yeah, I skipped through most of Doom 1 because it was just so boring, and I get why it was setting up everything. But I saw Dune 2 the other night in IMAX in Melbourne, and but after like the first hour, it was just so boring. I don't know, people will be like, oh, but it's a different type of... It's like, no, it's not a different type of movie. It's just a boring movie. Like, there's this whole thing about time, you know, about him becoming a fighter, you know, a Fremen warrior, learning the ways and all that sort of stuff. And it makes sense, but there's no proper flow of time. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if I had to give it a score, if I had to rate the movie, you know, I'd be rating it like, I don't need that one. I'd be giving it like a 7. I just didn't like it. Like, there are times when it looks gorgeous, but it's so full of itself. I mean, I watch you know, movies of any kind really, except horror films. They just bore me, and it always just comes down to being like, I feel like I should get something from my time watching the movie. Like, I should be able to walk out of it and go, oh, that was a great story, or that action piece was really cool. And I just didn't get that with Dune. Like, in IMAX, it looked incredible and it sounded great. But yeah. Let us summon Kronos. I like how the captions knew how to spell Kronos. I do find it hilarious that in this, Kronos is not chopped up into pieces and thrown into Tartarus like the law. He's just, you know, chained with a giant city on his back. It's kind of funny too that the game is making me fight more sirens when traditionally sirens are located in water because they would lure sailors to their deaths. Yeah, I don't know why they use Kronos. I think it's just because that's like the big bad. But yeah, there's not a lot of Titans obviously, but there's a good number of Titans that they could have used somebody else. Oh, I earned a trophy in the last stream for getting my ass whooped like half a dozen times in a boss fight. I'm literally going to look up Titans. Oh. Just because I want to know the other names. I just can't think of all of them. Hyperion, yeah, I remember him. Kronos and Rhea. Rhea obviously being the mother of Zeus. But the 12 Titans are Oceanus and... So Oceanus would have been a great one. Because he's the father of the river gods and the Oceanids. So it would have been, you know, very, very interesting to have the Titan basically of water wandering the desert. That would have made more sense. But, you know, we'll take what we can get. Now we blow our special Kronos whistle. What was really annoying about that fight, Steve, is after I died, like the half-done thunder gave me the trophy.
Titans emerged from the desert sands. On his back, Pandora's temple awaited, massive and patient, ready to challenge all who went in search of its guarded treasure.
So I feel we'll just let the cutscene play. Yeah, so when... What was I saying? Yeah, so after I died half a dozen times in that fight, the game's like, oh, you're having a tough time. Let's put it on easy for you. And I'm like, oh. So now I'm playing on easy in combat encounters because the game didn't like the fact that I was struggling with a fight. Also, can we just acknowledge the fact they
For
go,
3 days, Kratos climbed the sheer walls of the mountain. He knew he would either recover Pandora's box or perish inside the cursed temple, never to return to the world of man.
I see what they did there. Yeah, can we talk about the fact that they're like, Kronos the last time? It's like, yeah, but timeline-wise, we already know there's one in Hades. No, it's this was just something the remaster did. It never did in the original game. At least I don't recall it doing it in the original. But Nintendo's very good for that too. Oh, you failed to complete this super difficult challenge. Well, we dealt with Atlas, and then we know by the end of God of War 3, or the start of God of War 3, there's a heap more Titans. See, with Atlas holding up the world, all they needed in that game was a line that said something to the effect of, you know, Atlas now buried beneath Hades or something, you know, would remain forgotten for all eternity or something like that, just to harp at home. Yeah, the Ninja Gaiden series, unfortunately, isn't exactly known for being polite. Especially if you're a female. Oh, where are we going? Yeah, the continuity in this series is beyond stupid. But to be fair, it is also based off Greek mythology, which doesn't make sense depending on whose version you listen to anyway. So
So, you think you can conquer the Temple of the Gods, do you?
oh, what's this guy's name?
It's never
He's the
been
one
done,
that
you
gets
know.
eaten by the birds every day.
Sooner or later, the Harpies will bring what's left of you back for me to burn. The gods hid Pandora's box in here, so no mortal would ever claim its power. And yet, year after year, I open the gate for more and more soldiers and place more and more bodies on these pyres. If I were you, I'd leave now. But I can see you are determined. Very well.
Oh, what's his name?
May
He
the
was
gods
cursed
grant you strength to
by
conquer
Zeus
the
to have
perils that
his
lay
eyes
before you.
and intestines and
luck,
everything else
Spartan.
eaten every day by birds, and then overnight he would reclaim his, he would regenerate his stuff. Oh no, it's blocked off. Kratos can't jump. I think a lot of mythology uses birds because they're everywhere. I know in Chinese mythology, birds, especially like phoenixes, play a big role. Obviously, in Norse mythology, Odin has his ravens. Oh, in the butt. Oh. That's it, Prometheus. Obviously, that mustn't be Prometheus then. Because, yeah, he's chained to a rock. See, I just, for the life of me, couldn't figure out his name. Like, I knew the story, I just couldn't figure out the name. And it annoys me when that happens. Man, pretty well kept in here. Look at the shine on that floor. Oh, not these pricks again. These are the guys I died on repeatedly in the game. Is like, oh, you suck. No, they're exactly the same enemies. In Ascension, they're just purple themed. They've got like purple smoke and purple glowing weapons and everything. Other than the color, they're the same goddamn thing. The only difference is in Ascension, you can rip them out of the ground. Can't do that here. It's a Stargate. Chevron 12 locked. God. Ow. You have to be kidding me. Little bastard shot me as I entered the door. Jesus Christ, camera. I said Medusa for a second. I'm like, they're not the daughters of Lord Zeus. Considering we're on the back of a Titan, who's on his hands and knees wandering through the desert, it's a surprisingly smooth experience.
Artemis.
Kratos, the gods demand more of you. You have learned to use the blades of chaos well, but they alone will not carry you to the end of your task. I offer you the very blade I used to slay a Titan. Take this gift and use it to complete your quest. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies.
The Blade of Artemis, which is kind of stupid because she's a hunter. She uses a bow and arrow. So why would Artemis have a sword?
With the gods, Kratos. Go forth in the name of Olympus.
See, you've said 5-star rating on the Challenge of Atlas. You've said 5-star rating on Uber, and now I'm like, what would be the Greek version of Uber? Because if you recall in the Disney Hercules movie, they had, you know, the Air Jordans, but they were Air Hercs, and they were sandals and all that sort of stuff. So now thinking, what would that be called? That's not fair. Sorry, we won't use the giant sword. It's funny, this room is giving me Prince of Persia Sands of Time vibes. Gotta be careful with that name though, because there's Charon the ferryman, and then there's Chiron the trainer of gods. Just. Stupid game. It registered an input as I finished the other one. I hear somebody. You know, I don't think there was. Oh. Sorry, let me get off of this. Oh, for fuck's sake, aim, you bastard thing. Sneaky little... Oh, not two of them in the corridor. Yeah, it doesn't look like a cleaver though. It looks just more like a greatsword. Not a greatsword, but you know what I'm talking about, like just a big sword. I mean, maybe it looks like a cleaver. I don't know. It just seems like a weird choice. Like they've gone and done things weird with a lot of other Greek things. But then they decide this is the time to you know, not use a character's, you know, known thing. A few kicks and they get thrown off. 20 slashes with the Blade of Chaos and they're still hanging on for dear life. The Shield of Hades. Let me guess, that wall behind me is going to start moving. What a surprise. Who could have foreseen that coming? I mean, anyone who's seen any Indiana Jones movie, I suppose. Not that one, that one. I'm surprised all his weapons aren't in Hades with him. Like, maybe that's why Persephone hates him, is because he keeps losing all his shit. That door really didn't get anywhere near me, did it? That's fine. And you may have noticed, too, I turned the music down a little bit. It was a bit... It was a little loud. So I was like, you know, I'll just turn it down a bit. I do appreciate the sword does, like, cleave through enemies fairly easy. Let me get magic. Oh, we've got a lot of orbs. Let's see what we can upgrade. Well, we want to upgrade that, because that's important. And then, because we like using this, we'll put some into here. Shield of Zeus. That looks nothing like Lance Reddick. It's a bit of a joke because he played Zeus in like one scene in Percy Jackson. Oh, oh no, if I guarantee there's like a chest up there with a feather or something. See, I liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining. Obviously, it wasn't a one-to-one adaptation, but it was fine. The second movie, unfortunately, was like 70% the second book, and then 30% the final book, and it didn't really make sense. But I actually watched the recent series on Disney Plus, and it was good. Obviously, there were times when it was a little, you know, PG-13 violent sort of stuff, which is, I get, but at the same time, it's like, come on. You're doing a show about Greek mythology, and you're not including orgies and all that sort of shit. Obviously, I wouldn't expect them to on Disney, but they should have had more to it. But yeah, no, I've read the first 5 books, the second 5. I've read the Cain trilogy, which is ancient Egypt. There's a Norse series as well that he did. It got picked up for a second season, so you know they're going to do Sea of Monsters next. So it's the Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, and then The Last Olympian in the first series. And then there was a secondary thing. Yeah, so he was actually a teacher before he was an author. So, you know, that's what I think is cool. Is that it's not the best literary work, but it's full of enough details that it makes sense. So the Heroes of Olympus is the second series, and that's where they introduced the Roman gods. The Trials of Apollo is the third series in the Percy Jackson stuff. The Cain Chronicles is the Egyptian one, and then Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard is about the Vanir. So you know Freya, Odin, Thor, all that sort of stuff. And there's 3 of those. But yeah, I really like the Cain Chronicles. If you like Egyptian mythology, the Cain Chronicles is definitely worth a read. I'll just throw the old wiki link there. Yeah, I just think it's fantastic. Did we save? No, we didn't. Let's save. Oh, you bastards, there's a timer on this. Oh, you fucking game. I am also a big physical book guy. I don't mind having digital. So I have on my iPad. I have all of the Rick Riordan series. I have the Aragon series. So I have 4 of the Aragon series. I haven't got the Witch and the Spoon and whatever the other thing's called, and then Murtaugh, which is the one that came out last year. I haven't got those digitally yet. But I have the Harry Potters digitally and physically. I have the Tom Clancy's digitally and physically. So I've got a shelf just outside. It's packed with all my books, and then I have them all on the iPad. Mostly for when I travel. That way, you know, if I just want to take... Because I took Murtaugh with me. I bought it like before I went to Japan, and I took it with me so I could actually read it on the plane and everything. But the plane was just too hot to focus on a book. And then, you know, packed in with a big thick book. It didn't really work. But unfortunately, it just added to the weight because it's a thick book. Let me grab it for a second. Yeah, the Kindle's great. The only reason I haven't bought a Kindle is because now a lot of them come with ads, like this ad when you turn it on, all that sort of shit. And it's like, if I'm paying you $150 for a device, I shouldn't have ads on it. But that's Eragon, right? So it's a very, it's a decent sized book for what it is. I had to buy a second copy because my first one got ruined. Right, and the print, it's. Let me swap to the big screen so you can actually see what I'm showing you. It's fairly decent sized print, right? It's not massive or anything. Obviously the camera's blurry, but it's not horrible. But that's Eragon. That's the first book he ever wrote. This is Murtagh. So Eragon, Murtagh. And it's just slightly bigger text and all that sort of stuff. So it's funny, the bookmark that I have here, it's a napkin, and I can't remember where I got it from. Oh, there's a thing in it. I think it's Qantas. There you go. My bookmark for this book is a Qantas napkin. Because I needed something. And I was like, oh, what can I use? So, yeah. Yeah, but that's the Fork, the Witch, and the Worm. That's the one. I said spoon before. But yeah, that's the fifth mainline book in the Eragon series. Unfortunately, he also wrote... Let me grab the other one that he wrote. Before I show you that, let me fix up the camera. I didn't actually realize I hadn't put the background back on the camera from earlier. Okay. Yeah, so he wrote after Inheritance, the final of the Eragon books, because the last book got split in two. He wanted to write a sci-fi book, and the book he wrote is called To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. And this is the book he wrote. This book is 878 pages with the afterword and all that sort of stuff. And again, it's fairly dense text on the page. It's not like giant font or anything. But my God, was this boring. I read the whole thing because, you know, I'm like, I've already paid for it. I may as well read it. But nope, it is not worth it. It is not a nice book. So the only time I've ever bought a book at the airport, I was heading to the States in, I want to say 2016, maybe 2018. I don't know. I went to the States a lot, you know, for E3 and trips and everything. But I went to the States, and in the domestic terminal in Melbourne for Qantas, I was flying up to Sydney to then fly over. So I would have been on a holiday, because I would have been going via Dallas. And I remember in the store they had the Captain Phasma like book about her, you know, growing up and becoming who she was in the Star Wars movies. And I was like, I think this would be good. I haven't read a good Star Wars book in a while. So I bought it. I paid like $44 or something for it. It was a hardback. I was very happy that it was a hardback because I prefer hardback books. And I bought it, and I read halfway through the first chapter, and I went, this is atrocious. The writing was so bad. I honestly couldn't understand how it got published. I really don't understand. So I honestly took it back to the shop and said, I tried reading this. It is utter garbage. And they gave me a refund because it was not a good book. But enough about good and bad books. Oh, it reset. Hang on, let me restock my health. It's funny though, I have all but one of the Phase 1 books from the Star Wars High Republic series, and I'm missing... I'm going to open up Excel and check this now. Because they've just started Phase 3 at the end of last year. Sorry, I'm missing 2 of the Phase 1 books. And one of them is the High Republic Adventures Galactic Bake Off Spectacular and the High Republic Adventures Free Comic Book Day comic. And I'm waiting for them. They're being put in a compendium, and I have to wait for that to be released. And I'm missing... what's that? 9 books in Phase 2. And I haven't got any of Phase 3 yet. But I've got the mangas, the comics, the graphic novels, the short stories, the regular novels, the kid novels, the youth novels, the radio plays they've adapted back into books for reading. I have all of them. Because I was like, I haven't had a good Star Wars book in a while. So let's give this a go. Okay, let's not touch the lever in front of the giant boulder before we investigate the room. That sounds familiar. Who's it by? Because there was a pirate series that I started looking into recently, well, a while ago now. And I remember seeing it and I'm thinking, oh, this could be interesting. And I got like 2 of the books and I just never got any of them, any other of them, sorry. Actually, I'll show you. I have all the books in this series, but I'll grab one of them. So this is a book called Heatwave, and it's written by an author named Rick Castle. So that's the book there, Richard Castle, and that's Richard Castle. So the TV show Castle with Nathan Fillion, his big thing was that he was an author and he was following her around to write a series of books. So ABC, so the company that produced the show in America, the Disney company, sorry, they actually commissioned a whole series of these books to actually create the real world versions of these things. So there's 8 or 9 of them. They're hard covers. And there's even a fake quote from Stephen Cannell on the back, who passed away sadly. But yeah, but I just think it's fantastic. There's a quote from James Patterson on the front. Derek Landry, I have to look into it because I do like a good fantasy book. There was one, oh god, I can't even remember what it was called now, but it was all about colors. Like if you could manipulate color, and depending on the color you could manipulate, there was things going on. It was very weird. It sounded cool, but it was so, for lack of a better word, it was so up itself. It wasn't even funny. It means missing its handle. Yeah, so Disney produced a whole series of Richard Castle books. Heatwave, Naked Heat, Frozen Heat, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I can't recall what that color one was called. Like, I really can't. Oh, I jumped across and there's a bridge here. I think I've come here too soon. That's right, we'll leave. There was another door in that room with the blades, so we'll go back there. There was another series though that I wanted to get into. I can't even think of what it's called now. But no, I honestly, I will read the Tom Clancy books. Every few years, I get them out and I start reading them over and over again. Oi! That seemed a bit harsh. Unfortunately, Tom Clancy died a number of years ago. Ow. So anything that's been written lately is not written by him, and I refuse to read it. Anything that is Splinter Cell, anything that's Ghost Recon, they're not him. Oh god, what is the other one? There's another series that unfortunately, Hunt for Red October is a fantastic book, but there's another series. It's like SecNet or something like that. Clancy's been dead for a decade now. That's sad. Bibliography. So yeah, support and defend and full force and effect and under fire were like they were outlined by Clancy, but they were all released, written by other people and released after he died. There's Op Center. That's the one. So there's 22 Op Center books. He started that series, like he got the foundations done for it, and then he moved on to other things, obviously. Net Force is another series that he started up with another author. That's, again, not worth it, but there's a lot of Net Force books. There's the Splinter Cell books. There's a few Ghost Recon books. There's a whole bunch of Division stuff, which obviously he's not involved with. But chronologically, the first book he ever wrote, the first book in the series, is The Hunt for Red October. And then it's Red Rabbit is the second book that should be read in that sequence. It's unfortunately, it came out in 2002, and he wrote that specifically for Ben Affleck, for that to become a movie and Ben Affleck to play the character again. But yeah, Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Cardinal of the Kremlin, Crew and Present Danger, and unfortunately we'll ignore the movies. Apart from Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger, and Patriot Games, those three are the good movies. Sum of All Fears is okay. It's not the best, unfortunately. Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit had nothing to do with anything apart from the character names. And then Without Remorse. is the one they did with Michael B. Jordan on Amazon, and they fucking butchered it. Like, it's the reason I don't watch movie adaptations where they do. I'm at the end. Where they do, you know, books. Where they take a book. I don't like them because they suck. But yeah, this one they did it, and it was not good. Like, they kept the concept fairly similar, but that was really it. The rest of it was just so wrong. So Patriot Games is the one with Sean Bean. And it's the one where it's a Harrison Ford one. And he, at the start of the movie, takes down Sean Bean's character from blowing up the Prince of Wales or something. Or a Duke or something. I can't remember the specifics now, unfortunately. But Clear and Present Danger, that's my favorite of all the movies, or the Jack Ryan movies. I didn't mind the Amazon show that John Krasinski was in. It unfortunately got stupid in the last 2 seasons. I mean, they started doing the right thing, but they were just being weird about it. But the Clear and Present Danger, that has Willem Dafoe's John Clark in it. So. John Clark is the guy who came up with the idea of Rainbow, and his call sign was Rainbow Six, and that's how that whole Rainbow Six saga came to be. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just that, but as a general rule of general background, that's how it came to be, and it's. Oh, don't tell me it's a timer and I'm going to die if I don't take them out in time. Yeah, I will gladly talk Clancy all day long. Hey, not nice. Oh. Now you know now I'm progressing in the right order because these guys, this room finally has enemies. Funny, I was thinking I might get on here and get ranty about EA and their bullshit decisions they made today. Might save that for the end though. Fucking cameraman. Oh, it's not just the layoffs. Like, the fact they did it last year and they're doing it again now, it's like there's so much wrong with that company. And what I... Oh God. I'm gonna get ranty here, but the problem that I have with what they've done isn't that they laid people off. They're EA, they're always going to do stupid things like that. The issue that I have with them is that their argument today was that they wanted to focus on their own series and their own IP and not licensed properties. But in that statement, they also said they're going to keep going with the Jedi series. And it's like, okay, one, the Jedi series is Star Wars, which is a license. It's not your IP, you don't own it. So you can't say, we're cancelling a Star Wars game so we can focus on our own IP like Star Wars. It doesn't fucking work that way. You can't claim one property as your own. And then the other thing, I mean, it's been 2 years since that game was announced, and they've been working on it in that time, and now it's just gone. The other thing too is they started up a studio in 2021. It only got named last year, which is Ridgeline Games. The co-creator of Halo left last week, and now they're closing the studio down. Closing the studio, some folks are going to Ripple Effect, which is in Los Angeles, not Seattle, where the studio was based. And then the single player game that they were working on has now been handed off to Criterion. Criterion are now a support studio for all things Battlefield and supposed to be making Need for Speed games. But Criterion's also 2 studios now, the original group that were Need for Speed and Burnout, and now what was Codemasters Cheshire, which is now part of Criterion. So it's all sorts of fucked. But the one thing that made me laugh at the hypocrisy and the stupidity of EA today was the statement about, we want to focus on our own IP. It's like, okay. And they go, and not rely on licenses. So, oh, okay. So you're not going to make any more sports games, right? Because PGA Tour 2023, whatever it was last year, Madden 23 last year, Madden 24 last year, NHL 24, UFC 5, the Formula 1 game that was just announced, WRC that came out last year, right? Even Need for Speed, every one of those games uses licensed content. They cannot make a Madden game without licensing the teams, the stadiums, the uniforms, the faces of the managers, the voices and likenesses of the commentators. They can't do it with UFC. They can't do it with any fucking sports property. And then they've got the fucking stones to stand up and say, oh, we're going to focus on our original content. It's like nothing you make is original. The last original IP that EA came up with, all right, the last original IP was Dead Space. That was the last original game that they themselves came up with. Dante's Inferno was an adaptation. So obviously it's very different from the actual poem, but it's an adaptation. And even then it's a God of War clone. But the last original IP that EA created was Dead Space. And their whole thing about how gamers want large open worlds, you know, live services communities. It's like you tried live services with Anthem. People went, get the shit away. Nobody wants that. You put in live service with Battlefront 2 with microtransactions out the wazoo, and people went, get the shit away from it. We don't want that. Every time they try and force a live service thing, they tried it with Battlefield. Remember they were putting in a battle royale mode into Battlefield, and it didn't even launch because people were like, we don't want this shit. We want Battlefield. We don't want battle royale Battlefield. So everything they're doing is licensed. You talk about all their games all their revenue comes from licensed games. The freaking mobile games, right? Star Wars game, SimCity is their own. The Sims is their own. They have The Simpsons tapped out. They have an MLB game that just launched. They've got Plants vs Zombies. Obviously, that's their own. You know, they've got maybe half a dozen of their own IP, but they've got like a dozen of licensed IP that makes them money. So every single time every part of their statement today was complete and utter bullshit. Well, so The Sims 5, it's called Project Renee at the moment. The interesting thing for that one is it's going to be made, well, it's free to play, yes, but it's also being made for PC, console, and mobile all at once. So it'll be the same game on all platforms. So if you sit at your PC and you play for 4 hours and then you have to go on a plane, right, you could technically just pick it up on the mobile and keep going. So that's interesting. The problem is, they've been talking about it for about 3 years now, and they've not shown anything, which is never a good sign. That took a lot of effort, that one. Look, I have no issue with them doing content packs and expansion packs and all that shit for The Sims, right? People love that shit, and they're doing fine with it. I have no problem there. Oh, like in that rant thing that I'm writing up, the first thing that I put in there is about microtransactions, and even today, if in the EA statement they're talking about how people want live service games, it's like, no, people don't want live service games. People are happy with content that comes out every 3 months, right? But we don't want to be paying $20 every 3 months for a battle pass to earn content that if we don't get it in that 3 months, we don't get it at all. I looked into it, like there are 1,766 skins in Fortnite. If you were to take all those skins and let's say you bought half of them for 1,000 V-Bucks a pop, Some of them are obviously more expensive, some of them are a bit less, but 1,000 is, you know, the minimum you can buy. 12 Australian dollars per 1,000 coins. If you bought 883 skins at $12 pop, you're literally talking about $100,000. Let me do. So it's 883 by 12 bucks. Sorry, you're talking $11,000 for some skins in Fortnite. And then mobile games are atrocious for it. Like, I was playing Plants vs Zombies on the Galaxy S24 Ultra that I was reviewing, and in the corner it had like lives. You know, if you fail a level, you lose a life, and when you fail, you got to wait half an hour for it to refill up one of the lives again. And it's like, oh, you pay $1 and you get 30 minutes of unlimited play. And it's like, well, that's not fair, because that 30 minutes is
bodies of those who had gone in search of Pandora's box
only valid if you're
before him.
playing for the next
And
30
once
minutes.
Kratos knew who was responsible, for this was not the first time he'd seen the ruin Ares and his minions had left in their wake. Kratos had experienced it firsthand years before. The youngest and boldest captain in the Spartan army, Kratos inspired fierce loyalty in his men. It had always been enough to carry them through any battle, until this day. The barbarians to the east numbered in the thousands.
It looks a bit like the
Descended
Thor
on
design.
Spartans without mercy. The battle lasted mere hours. The discipline and training of the Spartans did little to stem the tide of the merciless barbarians.
It's funny, this is very
Soldiers faced a
300.
massacre, while their young captain faced the end of his brilliant career and his life. But to Kratos, victory was worth any price, even his soul.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours.
That desperate call for aid would come to haunt Kratos for all his days.
By the gods, what have I become?
Yeah. Microtransactions are a stain upon everything gaming's about. And then all these layoffs, the PlayStation laid off folks from Insomniac. And it's like, you have to be kidding. They made one of the biggest games of 2023. They've sold some 15 million copies, right, across the game. And yet you turn around and go, oh, we have to lay folks off because we cancelled a game that they were working on. And it's like, are you kidding me? These games don't take 6 months to make. They can take 4 to 5 years now. All they're doing is they're cancelling games that aren't live service, that can't make them money consistently, that literally hasn't... Oh, that's not what I need. Will this be open or will it be closed? Oh, no, it's open. Like, I was contemplating doing another Maxi Geek show tomorrow just so I could rant about the bullshit that's happening in the gaming industry. Like, last year there was nearly... Estimates are anywhere between 10 and 12,000 people laid off. You know, across the year. And already we're at like 7,000 people. Okay, let's not go in there. Yeah, like live service. You look at Suicide Squad. There was no reason that game had to be live service. There was no reason at all that that game needed to have microtransactions and season passes. Even if the season passes are free, there was no reason whatsoever that they had to be included in the game. Except for the fact that somebody at Warner Brothers said, do this because it means we'll make money. Now, I will say this. I will admit, if a game is free to play, like Fortnite or like Overwatch 2, right, I'm happy for someone to say, you know, hey, this game's free to play. If you spend 20 bucks every 6 months, you'll get a whole bunch of content, right? That's fine. But that's an optional thing. People don't need to pay for that. But if your game's free and you want to charge extras, want to charge for, you know, little extra bits of content, then fine. Happy for you to do that. Why do I get the feeling it's a giant wheel of death if I run in here? See? Told you. But if I'm already paying $100, $120, $125 for a game, I shouldn't then be expected to keep paying to have content added to the game every 2 or 3 months. Get off it. Like, Skull and Bones just released, and they've already now kicked off their first season. And all the content in that game is 100% free. Right? They're not doing any paid content, at least for the first year. That may change. You can enjoy everything about that game for free. Yeah, well, I mean, there's another one. You know, you can play most of World of Warcraft for free. But there's also this, if you pay a subscription, you can do more things, right? Or the real kicker. Oh, don't tell me I have to run on it. Like Star Wars: The Old Republic. If you are a subscriber to that game, you get cartel coins every month that you can use to get extra things in rah. Oh, you stupid game. And that's the other thing that with WoW, right? When I bought WoW, I bought it in 2004, a few months after it released. And I remember having to pay $20 or $24, whatever it was at the time, to play the game that I had already bought. And it was that business decision that I went to when it started. Sorry, I came out and went, you know what? No. Fuck this and fuck any company that does that shit. Look, ESO is a little different for me because some of the content that they release is free, but the big expansions require you to either buy it with their in-game currency or real-world dollars, and it's like, if you could earn the currency by playing the game, then it would be fine. But the fact that it lets you choose either option, like you don't have to commit to one, you can enjoy in either way, I'm okay with that. But there was another game recently that did it. Oh, Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7, right? Hundreds of cars in that game. But if you wanted to unlock them all, it was going to take you like 5 or 6 years of consistent play to earn the currency, to earn the in-game currency to buy all the cars. Or you could go ahead and just buy, you know, a car pack for $6 or $7 a pop US and get 2 or 3 cars as like a quick access thing. And it's like, you've got to be shitting me. you fucking game. Yeah, but no, microtransactions, if you're paying full price, even if you buy the game on sale for 50% off, or 60% off, or 80% off, or 5% off, whatever it is, if you're paying for that game, you shouldn't be paying for any content after that game is released. It's just not how it should work. Yeah, 2K is perhaps the most egregious because they do it in the WWE game. They absolutely spam that feature. Like they spam it in my faction. They do it in NBA. They absolutely spam the hell out of their microtransaction bullshit there. You can grind for hours to earn enough currency to buy a t-shirt, or you can spend, you know, $2 and buy the t-shirt right now. And it's like, oh yeah, but you know, they give you the option. It's like, no. That's like saying I can build a house with my screwdriver and only my screwdriver, or I can buy a hammer and it'll get me there so much sooner. It's like, it's not an option if doing it one way is tedious. Yeah, they do that, and then they do it. They've got so it's inbuilt to the game. So NBA 2K24 will have it. 23 has it. They all have it. But then they have dedicated games for this shit. I don't know. I cannot. Like, every time I get a press release from 2K about, oh, Season 5 is now available in WWE Supercard on mobile. It's like, just, I delete it. It's like, fuck off. I have no time or desire to deal with anything with that series. I have more ranty things, but the microtransactions in any way, shape, or form are absolutely egregious and should fuck off completely. But the next one down, which is, you know, if I'm angry at microtransactions 100% of the time, I'm 97% angry at early access games. And I'm not talking about the you know, hey, we're a small developer, we've put our game into Steam early access. You know, if you do that, if you support us here, you know, rah. Like that early access, fine if you're an indie. If your publisher is a giant corporation, you should be banned from any form of early access, right? The fact that Blizzard launched Overwatch 2 into early access was disgusting, right? But early access in game development, I'm fine with. The early access I have a problem with is we see it coming up with WWE 2K24. Right? The game is releasing on March 8th. All right? But if you pay an extra $30, you can get it 3 days early. PGA last year from EA released on like April 17th. But if you paid an extra $30, you got it 3 days early. Need for Speed from EA, pay an extra $30, get it 3 days early. It is one of those things, and it's up there for me with special, like retailer special editions. Like when I do bargain guides for Ubisoft or 2K, there's always like, there's a Ubisoft exclusive at EB and there's a Ubisoft exclusive at JB Hi-Fi every time. And the difference will just be one themed in-game item set, right? And, you know, for Skull and Bones, I think one was like very wooden, one was very materialistic, right? And that's all it was. It was a different hat and a different shirt and all that crap. But it's like, that's not a special edition, right? And the fact is that game at both JB and EB had a standard release, which was just the game, or for the same price, you got the bonus content. It's like, okay, then why is the bonus content not just with the regular game, right? I shouldn't have to buy a special edition. If I get started on that, I won't stop. I will rant and rave for the next like hour on all of it. But yeah, that's why I'm writing this rant piece. Like, you know, what are the things that are absolutely toxic to the gaming industry as a whole? Obviously, layoffs are a big thing, but, and I hate to say it, I really do hate to say it, but making games is a business. Even if you're a solo developer, you're still trying to, put food on the table for either just yourself or your family. So see, that one I don't get so worked up on. Elden Ring has been out for 2 years now at this point. So people either already own the game and are looking forward to the DLC. But if they don't, they are doing a release of the game and the DLC, just not in the big special edition. So for me, it's like, if you want the special edition, it's because you're a big fan of the game already, so you already own the game. So I don't imagine anyone's going to be rushing out going, oh, this DLC looks great, I should get the base game at the same time. So I don't see that, thing. But you bring it up, PlayStation, they did the God of War Collector's Edition and the Horizon Collector's Edition for Forbidden West. And they didn't come with discs, they came with codes. And it's like, why is there no disc? That's the whole point of me spending $400 or $500 on this collector's edition, is so I can have it on the disc. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying the price on the Elden Ring DLC. And yeah, it comes with a statue. Yeah, fuck off. Right? I'm at the point now where I have too much of that stuff. You can't see it because I've got my God of War background up, but I have 3 giant bookcases or shelf systems absolutely full of statues and collectibles and all that. So I don't need any more of that. The Bandai Namco also, unfortunately, are a problem because they will offer these incredible looking collector's editions that, are $500. And you go, okay, why is it 500? Oh, it comes with the game. Okay, that's $100. Cool. What do I get for the other 400? You get an exclusive statue. Okay, I could buy a very similar looking statue direct from you already for $80. So why is this one so much more? There was one. There was a collection. There was this big collection of here you go. So there was an edition of Darksiders 3. Oh yeah, digital art books, digital soundtracks. I got that with Starfield and opened up a secondary app, like it downloaded a secondary app, it's all buried in there. It's like, I'm not going to fucking listen to a soundtrack off my Xbox. That's not how it works. But have a look at this. This was the oh god, the Apocalypse Edition for Darksiders 3. This was like $800 when it was first announced, because it came with a 30 centimeter tall statue of Fury, who was the playable character in 3, a 25 centimeter statue of War, who was the playable character in 1, and a 25 centimeter statue of Death, who was the playable character in 2, as well as a Volgrim figurine. And that, that was so much. And then the price on those things, like that collector's edition, dropped to like $300 or $400 like 2 months later, because nobody was paying that amount of money for a collector's edition that made absolutely no sense. It was just one of those disgusting things. They were like, oh, this people will spend this much money on it. It's like, you go to EB Games when they do a sale, and I'm literally looking it up now. The collector's editions for like SpongeBob SquarePants and all that shit, they will drop in price astronomically quick, because nobody wants to spend $500 on a SpongeBob SquarePants statue. Where are we here? So there's the Street Fighter Collector's Edition still in stock because it came with figurines of characters. That's $300. There's the Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition, the one that comes with the Venom statue, for $370, still in stock. The Tekken 8, that's a little different. It just came out like a month ago, but that's $500, still in stock. Assassin's Creed Mirage, $230, still in stock. The Hogwarts Legacy, still in stock at $200. the Gotham Knights Collector's Edition, $400, and it comes with that statue of all 4 of the characters, still in stock. But what's really interesting is when they put them on sale, let me do condition new. When they put them on sale, I think that Gotham Knights one dropped to $120 on sale. Just because they were trying to get rid of them because nobody was buying it because the game was crap. Yeah, it dropped. It just dropped out of nowhere. So yeah, obviously they don't have a sale on it at the moment, but like that Spider-Man edition, it's $370 right now. But it'll probably be in the sale in June, in their mid-year sale. It'll probably be $250. I have it. Where is it now? So let me turn off the camera behind me. When I say camera behind me, let me turn it off to background blur. And then I'll turn off auto frame. Right, so up there you'll see, where is it? There it is. So that's my little Cyberpunk collection. That pillow was, I think it was like $39.95 when it first was released. And then that, I got that for like $12. And then there's the Totaku figures that EB released. There's the male and female V, and there's Johnny Silverhands, and I got them all for $5. But the big yellow box behind it was the one that came with this statue of V crashing on the bike. So it was this statue. Let me turn the camera down. There we go. So it was this statue, right? And this statue, when it came out, when this collector's edition came out, they wanted $500 for it. Right? There's V on the bike crashing into a guy, right? Now this looks really cool. I don't think it's worth $500. But because the game, when it released, bombed hard because it was so broken on Xbox and PlayStation, EB dropped the price on this to $200. So I bought this for $200, and then the game that I had, I traded it in. And I got like $45 for it or something for trade because it was only like 2 months old. Yeah, so I got this for really cheap, and I've got the giant art book in there and everything, right? And I have no issue with that. Right? If you're buying a collector's edition for a figurine or something, it has to be worth the money. But I wouldn't have paid $500 for that. That's astronomically stupid. But there are so many people that would, and unfortunately, it is a problem. Let me put my background back on. But yeah, I don't know. I could tell you a lot about EB and their practices of late, but I won't because I don't want to get people in trouble. But let's just say they're not doing well financially. They're really struggling. But anyway, I will stop here because if I keep going on rants, I will be online for the next hour just ranting continuously. And I probably shouldn't because, there's no reason for me to do so when I have a big feature coming up. But yeah, that's going to do us for this week. Obviously, we did get some good progress in. We did the trial of Atlas. So we did the Sewers of Athens, the Desert of Lost Souls, Pandora's Temple, Rings of Pandora, and the Challenge of Atlas, which is what I was hoping to get sort of through, which is a good 6 chapters or 5 chapters. But that leaves us with 6 to go, one of which is the big fight against Ares. So we've made some very good progress on that front. That will do us for this week. We'll be back on Monday for more of our God of War series. If we have a good run on Monday, I suspect we may be starting Ghost of Sparta on Thursday. I'm also expecting a few things to pop up next week. So we may end up skipping the Thursday stream if we get through the game. If not, we might end up just running a really short stream on Thursday while we finish off this game if we haven't done so already by that point. But yeah, that's going to do us. If you did watch live, thanks for watching live. As always, the replays will be available on YouTube. for the series, which I still need to do for the last game. I haven't put them up yet. But with that being said and done, we will catch you when we're online next time. But until then, happy gaming.